Welcome to the U.S. Open 10-Ball Championship, proudly presented by CueSports International and hosted here in Las Vegas at Griff's Billiards. It's a first-round match, and our two opponents for this match are, first up, hailing from Canada, Alex Pagulayan, and his opponent, hailing from the United States of America, Billy Thorpe. Gentlemen, have a great match, and you may lag for break.
Welcome, everyone, to day one of the U.S. Open 10-Ball Championships. We are at Griff's in Las Vegas, Nevada. And this is Billy Thorpe and Alex Pagulayan. This is George THA in the booth with Jeremy Jones. Jeremy, what a matchup.
Yeah, what a matchup it is. And to start our tournament off here at Griff's in Las Vegas, it's Billy Thorpe just coming off a nice win in an early round match, a 10 a.m. match. And you know, with the win, and it looked like both players, he defeated Max Eberle 9-7, and a little unfortunate scratch at the end of the match, but both players seemed to play real well. So it can be a good thing coming off a nice win like that when you played well. It's one thing if you struggled across the finish line, George, and then you got to face a guy like Alex. It could be a little bit mental, but that's one thing that these players got to deal with.
Yeah, Max played. They were 5-5. They were going rack after rack after rack, and then somehow Max got up a rack and broke dry, and Billy took it from there. And then, like you said, Max scratched on the 9-ball to make it hill-hill. But right here, we're off and running. Billy breaking first. This is a race to 9. It'll be a double elimination. The final will be a single race to 11. Top 16 players were seeded by Fargo rate. The strong player field. We're playing by CSI rules.
Yeah, you can see the 10 over the hole. And last time we were together, George, we were playing the rules to where there's no early wins on the 10. And now here in our first game, we're going to see most likely something different.
Yep, we probably will. See if
this is an interesting shot here.
Yeah,
he's kind of got some angle. He's got to get on the 3. You can see a 4-10 that's waiting. Okay, that's got to slow down a little bit. That's got to slow down a little bit.
And now it wants to speed up a lot a bit.
Yeah, and
ouch.
That was the worry. Now he's really got to jump at the 3-10 most likely.
Yeah. Looking good here for Billy. He'd like to have been right there, yeah, where he just pointed, indicated, or he'd gone past the 8. He'd have been in heaven doing that.
And this is brand new felt here on the stream table, where Billy came off of a table that had a little bit older felt. So that could have been a little bit to do with why he overran. But it was a funny shot on the 2. He had to put enough steam on it to draw by the 5 and the 7. Oh, he's going for the side, it looks like. Oh,
no, he called the 10.
Okay. He's going to get a little roll.
A big roll. He's behind the 8. I think Alex can see just a piece of the 3. No, he can't. Not from there. He's got like a quarter ball jump to get to the edge of the 3.
He's going to call the 2-rail kick, and I'm surprised. I guess he can't kick to the side rail so easy to get to the 3 either. And not saying that's great with the 10 hanging. You would normally kick the 3 down table, but you would think he may be a little more accurate on making the 3 in the side or something like that, just kicking 1 rail behind it. So he looked at it again, and must be too much swerve there, and he can't get enough pace on that kick. So he's going to kick 2 rails behind this 3, calling the 10 in the corner. I think he'll probably threaten this, if not make it.
Oh, my. Threatened it and missed it by about a quarter inch at most.
Well, those players, when they're real close to it like that 2-rail angle, they see it pretty well. Okay, so a big shot here, and another funny one with the 4 out in the middle of the table. He can draw into the 5. He can go forward, but he's going to catch the 7. He can't call 2 balls at once, so he's probably going to draw the ball here. If he catches the bottom of the 5, he could have a problem, George.
And here's a bigger problem. Well, it's going to be no problem for Alex to take game number 1.
No, and Billy's going to have to shake that off with 2 pretty nice opportunities. The first one especially to open the rack, and then a missable ball on the 3 trying to draw it there, but one you still wouldn't figure he missed.
Well, keep in mind we are playing CSI rules, which means that 2 and 3 will be racked on the corners. Combo on the 10 ball is allowed and will win you the game. There's no 10 ball on the break. It gets spotted. One Alex won the first game. A little mix up on our scorekeeping there, but there was 36 players in this year's U.S. Open. The top 16 were seeded by Fargo rate. And what a field we have. Out of that top 16, there was 23 players with Fargo's 800 or over. So that gives you an idea of the quality of this field. We just keep seeing better and better fields, Jeremy.
Yeah. Well, you're going to see that here. CSI putting on a great event with nice added money. And
oh, there goes the cue ball.
Yeah.
And
so kind of a reprieve after a couple opening mistakes for Billy Thorpe here.
Well, it's time to win one back and get back on track.
Yeah, and they're set up pretty nice as far as just get real full on the 2. You can see the 3 real nice in between the 6 and 7. Just a little bit of a shot probably from the 5 to the 6. And then the 8 to the 9. So some work here. But
I'd like to welcome all you guys to this event. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for purchasing the stream. Thanks for joining us.
You kick the 6 up in front of the side pocket here, George? That's a playable shot. It's not horrible.
He didn't.
No, I kind of like that. I mean, not messing with him if you don't have to, because the 7's very available. So as long as he doesn't get snookered here and doesn't get too thin on the 6, he can fall for the 7 in the side or the 7 in the same corner after shooting the 6.
Kicking the 6, so had he pushed it past the side pocket, he'd be in trouble by the 8.
Well,
by the 9.
Yeah, and things could have gotten a little hairy. So pretty smart
to let it go. Sometimes if it was on the rail, maybe.
Yeah, or if the
just bump it
if
off
the 7 wasn't so handy.
Right.
Say the 7 was down table somewhere or something like that. But with the 7 being very available, no reason to really mess with him. This is the big decision here, though. How do I get from the 8 to the 9?
Yeah, do you go against the rail with the cue ball or off the rail and use the rail to come over? I like to get against the rail.
Well, with a fast table, yeah, with a fast table, you can handle almost any above angle. And he's got to realize also he's got plenty here. The table's fast. So just hit it nice and clean. It should punch across pretty easily.
Just came off of a table, though, that didn't have the new cloth.
Yeah, well, that's one thing Billy Thorpe's not lacking too much of is power.
Yes. He used it and showed it there.
Yeah, and it was very controlled punch shot. That's what I like to see, real clean. It wasn't just let me make sure I get over there and hit it really hard. But going to comment at the beginning of this match, and probably the one edge Billy has is a few power shots here and there. Of course, banking ability, and I think he breaks the balls right now a little bit better than Alex. So got to take advantage of those things.
Now as he pockets his 10 ball, we're tied up at 1, and Billy was able to win back his break. So we're back on break. We are sponsored by CueSports International. Cyclop balls, they are using the Hyperion balls. Discount custom apparel. We are at Griff's Billiards. Also sponsored by JB Cases, Kamui, Predator, and Simonis Cloth. These are 9-foot diamond tables, brand new Simonis cloth, using the Cyclop Hyperion balls.
And we'll be here Pacific time at noon, 2, 4, and 6 on the stream. Each day it'll change a little bit, I think, according to the last days. Maybe not. Maybe the semifinals and the finals are still 4 and 6.
Right. But so you have 3 days of 10-ball, and then we're going to bring you 3 days of U.S. Open 8-ball championships. One of the things about this 10-ball will be, I'm not sure if it's unprecedented for Shane. If he wins this, it'll be his 4th consecutive title, U.S. Open 10-ball title. He's got to win this, and he's won 2 of the last 3 8-ball championships.
Right. Well, there are always tough fields, but I think this may be one of his toughest if he's going to go on to try and capture another 1 or 2 of those titles here this week. Okay, very successful break. Now, one thing Billy doesn't get quite as much of, but he's still very successful, is he doesn't get quite as much pop on the cue ball. It's a little flatter, but still he does real well as far as making the balls in the side, getting the one-up table in a good position a lot of times.
Yeah. And a great explanation you had during the last tournament we did together, Jeremy, on pop was when we were watching Tyler Steyer break the balls, and you talked about his pop. I really like the way you explained that. What you mean by pop? It's just like a pop or a crack, like a baseball bat hitting a solid fastball.
Yeah, it has a little bit to do with the angle of the cue and just the timing of it. And that ball got a little funny, and I don't think this is going to get over enough. So early in this match, Billy's got to not let some frustration set in, meaning he had an opportunity in Game 1 to really put Alex in the chair, and here in Game 3 he had the same opportunity. It wasn't easy. And the one had gotten a little funny after that combination. It got froze on the point. So he's got to regroup. He's got to thin this and run behind the 4 and the 8. Okay, the 3 is going to get away from him a little bit. I think the cue ball is real nice.
That last little tiny bit that it came off the rail might have given him a slight edge on the 3. I can't really tell from this angle.
Well, it's the same type of shot like when you're playing on the stream tables or TV tables with the brand new felt. He put the left English on that ball. It kind of deflected into the 3 and hit a little thicker, which carried the 3 a little further. Cue ball is nice. But now what do? Slow roll this? I mean, you got to slow roll the whole position. You might come 2 rails to the center, but okay, that's not going to. That's what he was going for it.
So he felt, well, he overcut the ball, but he felt he could see it all. But I think in the back of his mind, you don't want to hit that 8 ball going in, so he hit it a little thinner than he might have otherwise.
Yeah, but, more than anything, just a miss, long distance miss. He had to kind of roll it to hold position, even coming 2 rails. All right, Billy's going. Now, this is where Billy can take advantage of his banking. Instead of taking a chance on coming around for a real small position on the 4, he can be very comfortable and confident knocking this cross side in.
And as banks go, this is one of the easier ones. I mean, this is really high percentage.
Yeah, and it's one that you always have a nice. All right, so the new felt got him a little bit there as well. It kind of hugged on him a little bit.
Yeah, that spin, which adds a little speed to the ball, didn't it slid off the rail and didn't pick up the spin.
Yeah, when the object ball's so close to the rail, George, you know, cue ball goes right into the rail quickly, and it still has the top English on it, and so it doesn't want to bounce so well for you. Big shot here early though, for confidence, not only keeping the lead, but
he's got to avoid the side and he's got to avoid the 9.
Oh, he hit it great.
Oh,
I don't know about the 10. I think he's okay.
Now Billy's looking good through these last 3 balls here.
And if you had to pick out a player that you would think maybe you would pick out the man you mentioned a second ago, that being SVB. But besides SVB, if you had to pick out a player in the field that could handle a 10 a.m. and then get right back up and play at noon, Billy might be the guy you pick.
Oh, definitely.
He's in great shape, young man, eager to play.
And loves to play.
Yeah, and
Loves to play.
Loves the challenge as well. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Thank you, new felt.
All you can do is look up and say thanks.
Yeah. It's one of those.
That was a big one.
Guys wave their hands for getting lucky and all that. And I'm not much. I've never wanted to really do that. It's just part of the game. But if I was going to raise a hand, it might be on something like that where,
Exactly.
hey, I got away with
We both know
big time there.
We both know he got away with it. Yeah. On the bottom of on your screen there, you see Thorpe 766 and Pagulayan 808. That is the Fargo rate for the player. Alex was the 4th seed in this tournament. There's 3 players seated above him, and that was Shane Van Boning, Dennis Orcullo, and Junling Cheng.
Yeah, well, he's getting around. He was also in Shreveport last weekend for a tournament where the young Chinese Taipei player Liu actually won the event.
And he's here today, too.
Yeah, he's got a tough one, too. He's playing Geronimo here in the, I believe it's the noon round. Look at this break. This is sweet.
And
besides the 7-9, I think the 7 goes in the side. Pretty nice starter on the 2 for newly inducted. Going to be have the ceremony later in the year into the BCA Hall of Fame, and none more deserving than Alex Pagulayan. One of the all-time greats in our sport. And still looking to make his name still. Like he's, Alex is a talented guy that's done a lot of things in his life, but he's back on the pool scene and he wants to be the best player in the world again.
Well, he's changed things around. He tried snooker. He's gone back and forth with different paths, and now he seems to be devoting his time full time to this, and so looks a little more serious about it.
I think that bodes well for the players that are in the game today, the new era of champions or up-and-coming champions, a combination of both. I think Alex feels like he can still play with those guys, and he sees it as a challenge. He caught the last era of great players, the tail end of them, the Johnny Archers and Rodney Morrises, and he did real well with those guys.
Sure did.
And so
Jeremy Jones.
Well, just saying that there's a fresh new group of guys that I think he would like them to know that, hey, I can beat y'all as well.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't gone anywhere, guys. Still here. And at 41, he's not at an age where you would say his game would decline.
Well, pool used to be, if you stayed healthy, 28 to 45, just because it's such an experience game and nerves game and knowing what to do in the big situations. But, Alex, now we can see it's been a few months he's playing with glasses. And, just that tells you he's trying to put forth effort to make his game as good as possible. A lot of guys wouldn't go through that, especially after what he's done now in his 40s. A lot of guys wouldn't go through the time of trying to get used to playing with glasses and whatnot. And similar to maybe a John Mora. John Mora is now having to play opposite-handed. How many guys would go through that?
Oh, what a switch to go. I mean, I play left-handed, and I'll tell you right now, there's no way I would even consider attempting to play right-handed.
Well, I couldn't do it anyways just because the ability part, but even if I could, even if it was close to John Mora or as good as John Mora, the grind of it, knowing that you're just going to get beat because of some mistakes you make, or you're not quite as good as you were the other way.
Or the inconsistencies that brings into the
right,
game, too.
Right. Okay,
this gentleman here has some work. Yeah, he's got some work to do on the 7-ball. Looks like he's going to come into it.
I think he's going to come one rail before the side, and he's gotten I would try to draw 2 rails past myself, play it in the side, and come right at the 10, 2 rails right there. That's what I like.
Yeah. At first, it looked like he was going to shoot the 6 to the corner pocket, lower corner pocket, but he's changed. Looks like he's changing his mind.
I like the 6 in the side. Come 2 rails. It looks like to me you get a good feeling to really come 2 rails right at that heavy 10 ball right there, and there's a bunch of positions, believe it or not, that you could play safe from. This cue ball should kind of be going slowly 2 rails. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's the shot I like. And that's what happens. If you get past, you can make a decision on a bank. You can do some other things, which I don't think he'll pass up on the bank.
I don't see him playing anything else. I really don't see a safety off of there.
Well, he may be able to knock the 7 to the rail and carry the 9 with the cue ball. Alex is very good as far as going in the balls, but he's calling it. The problem I would have here is going forward is a little funny. You might go through the 9 and drawing off the 9. Believe it or not, if you have to cut this 7 on the new felt, you could draw off the 9, pass this 10, and come towards this lower left corner. Just depends on the speed he wants to hit it.
Now, in a case like this, should he be worried about where that template is? Because he could catch a corner of it.
Okay, that's going to spot. And we'll see if it makes any difference on this 9-ball shot. I don't think it's going to.
Well, it took away the option of shooting to the right-hand corner, but I don't think he was going to choose that anyway. But now he's got to avoid the 10 to play shape on it.
Yeah, and these guys laughing a little bit. They're pretty good friends, and that's one good thing I like seeing when there's more tournaments for these guys to play in. I think you're going to see a little more charisma during the matches because there's a little more comfort knowing you can play a little more in the next few weeks. They're still very serious, but
yeah, this isn't 3 tournaments all year.
Right,
they're getting quite a few now. I mean, they've had their belly full this year. I mean, what a year for pool this has been.
Well, I think it's just going to do nothing but get better. And
well, since everything's scheduled on basically the same way for next year, it's going to get way better.
Well, just overall, just not only CSI events, but pool in general. I think it's going to grow. We got a lot of outer matches going on. Looks like Michael Yednick has went ahead and won his early match, only to go on to play arguably the best player in the world, Shane Van Boning, or no argument the best player on this soil here in America. Yes. Sky Woodward with a 2-1 lead over, I think it's James Davey.
Davey, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's
Marco
Tetcher?
Tuscher? Yeah,
Tuscher.
Tuscher. Up 3-0 over Coke. Geronimo and Lou still at 0-0.
Che Lou. Eddie Geronimo.
Yeah, what a great player he already is. And what is he, 19 years old or something? 20, Lou?
Edgy is like 20.
No, Lou from Chinese Taipei. Thorsten Holman, 4-1 over Jamie Barracks. Good to see Jamie out and playing. Great talent. James Aranis now. The Cannon is Finnish player, I believe, right? It's got him 3-0. Got James 3-0. Corey Deuel is tied at 1 apiece over Wolford, with Wolford, excuse me. All right, he's got to knock the 1 down. Okay, and that's a nice safety. Really controlled the 1, and Alex is going to have to stretch over the table and probably come 2 rails to the left side of the 2 and the 3, I think. Don't see really at first look any other great path.
Can he come off that chalk by the side pocket there on the table and go the 2 rails behind that 1 underneath the 6, 7?
If it's any kind of tight, yeah, I like that. I really like the 2 rail long ways. He's going to use the bridge instead of, he can't quite stretch. Dennis Urcullo in the house. And good to see Dennis around.
He was missed last week. Nice hit.
Yeah, it was a nice hit. And the one good thing I liked about that kick is you weren't disturbing the 4 and 5. If you hit the 1 any kind of way, it wasn't ever going to open the 4-5. He left him a little flat here, so position isn't easy to get to the 2. But the main thing is he didn't open them balls, that 4, 5, and 6, so it's going to be a difficult run out for Billy.
Oh, he went with the rail first, and that new felt did not help him there.
No, and he did open the 4-5. So if he had made it, I'm not sure he came away with a shot on the 2, but would have had maybe an opportunity to get out. Now Alex Pagulayan. It's a lot about this first shot. That's what's worrying him. I think he can get by and get all the way back down for the 2 on the side. Can he go by the 10? Come 3 rails for the 2 on the side.
It's real close, that 10 ball. He can go by it. Rail first. Yeah, there you go.
The only problem is you don't want to come in steep.
Yeah.
Because he had the 2 in the corner by the 6 as well, but now really kind of handcuffed himself with no pocket.
Now, on a shot like that, that just laid right now. When you were talking about going by the 10, I was looking at it and thinking he could possibly go off the bottom rail with English into the ball and come up, creep up the rail between
the 4 and 5,
between the 7 and the rail.
Right. Oh, the left side.
Yeah, on the left side of it, and play
I thought he
play
might
the 2
actually
to the right.
come 1 rail and just kind of lay him between the 4 or 5. It takes some distance on the 2.
Yeah, that would have worked.
I think the new felt made all those shots a little touchy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to chip the 2 here behind the 5-6 and kind of just use a little talent, floating the cue ball maybe behind the 10 is what he's trying.
Looks like he's left a shot, a little kick shot for that 2 ball.
Maybe
and he
a piece of it.
He can see it, actually.
Yeah, I think he can.
He can see the piece of it. See how he plays this.
Okay,
nice
pretty
speed.
nice. Really nice.
Nice speed there.
Yeah, just using your talent a little bit, knowing that there's not really a guard there other than you're just creeping behind there, behind the 5.
And as we just noted, Alex called the 2 ball in the side pocket. He's going to go 1 rail right at it.
And he won't blast this. This will be not soft, of course, but about medium speed. Oh, he hit it much firmer than I thought. And he got a little bit of a roll, I think, on the 2. Okay, now Billy's going to sit here and he can't get out of the way of the kiss. Okay, so he won't bank this straight back to his left, I don't believe.
Might he bank it to the right and try to hold the cue ball on top of the 3? Can he be that delicate with it?
He's calling the side. Okay, so he's going to cut this, and he's going to try and make the cue ball run 1 rail behind the 8 and 9, I believe. It's more natural, and you don't have to try and hold it so much. You can let the 2 get below the 10 that way as well. See the new felt? Oh,
look
what
at the
he
shot.
called it.
He called that shot. Well, what a shot. Open that up real nice, controlled.
And he could go for this one, but this is with the new felt. This is a cross side I may stay away from, but Billy banks so well, and he's pretty used to the new felt, so he may go for this bank. I think he's going to play safe, though. Really nice.
Nicely done. Yeah, with new felt, that bank shot right there, when the object ball is up by the first diamond, it's just so hard to read, and you just don't know how much it's going to open up with that new cloth.
Well, anytime you have to cut the bank a lot on a new felt, those are the ones you want to stay away from, even though it's sometimes banks you like. Just because it's, like you said, George, it's real hard to predict how much it's going to slide off that cut. If it's a more full bank, hey, a lot more true to the type of felt you're used to, maybe you might say. But a cutback bank on new felt is difficult.
Yeah, those straightaway banks on new felt or broken in felt, about the same. But when, like you said, like when you're cutting the ball into the rail, it's going to slide. How much?
Interesting to see if he's calling the 10 here. Oh, he called the 10, not the 3. So trying to catch the 3 fairly full and bank it around. Oh, he made it. Now this will be
option.
Yeah, and not much of an option here. You're never passing this one, whether you miss it all day or not.
Now, had he been hooked with the 10, you would have passed it.
Oh, absolutely. Or even maybe left a sliver of the 4. Big shot here again. He's got to realize it draws easy.
And that 5 ball is a little tough here. He's going to have to come down with it to where he's at now.
Table draw's nice, and Billy not much problem drawing the ball. And he floated in a position pretty perfect, I think, or close to it. We're playing a race to 9 here in the early rounds, and then on to the finals will be a race to 11.
Well, he's made good here. Alex started off stealing Billy's break, but then Billy took 2 in a row. Alex got 1 back, and Billy's about to get this one back and stay on break.
And I like that. Kind of commented last tournament that I see a Billy Thorpe that's maturing along with improving, which is a great combination, but had a few frustrating moments here. But one thing I really liked is he doesn't mind winning with the safeties. Like here, this game here, he had to play a couple of nice safeties. He made, of course, a nice bank, 1-rail bank in the side that was a typical kind of 2-way shot. But he's got to realize if it's not there, we all hate to give up the table, but you just got to play the percentages.
For those of you online who want to follow the brackets, it is on ctsondemand.com. And when you get to the bracket, you can follow the live scoring. There's a little, right under the title, there's a small little, it says live scoring. Click that and it'll give you the live scoring, which just went out on our iPad. And here we go.
Billy wasn't too happy the way the 9 was hit. Just got a little quick with the stroke, but it's a little tougher 10 ball than expected.
But he handled it well, right in the middle of the pocket, and takes the lead. 3-2.
Well, Alex Pagulayan, noted for his nickname, the Lion, for all that heart he carries, but same thing with his opponent here this morning.
Yeah, this is a great opening match for the live stream. This is actually a second round winner's side match. Since they started playing at 10 and the top 16 were seeded, there were so many buys. I think they only had 4 matches in the first round. We'll try to keep you abreast of what's going on with all the other matches, and yet give each match its due respect, and walk you through that if we can.
Okay,
Alex's
ideal
break.
on the break there. Is the 1 going to do anything nice for him? And he's got a shot on the 1-6 that's pretty easy, and wow, what a layout.
Yeah, just looks, wow.
You could see Alex
With a break like that.
taking a lot off, right? Taking a lot off the break compared to Billy Thorpe.
And total control, although that ball was tracking towards the corner pocket, upper left-hand corner pocket. I don't think it was going to go in, but it got kissed away. As you say, the balls, when they're broken well, they go in those paths and take care of that.
One of the most repeating breaks there probably ever has been when it comes to any type of pool game is the way the guys break 10 ball these days. Okay, pretty fortunate not to get elevated there, because Alex would have had a little bit of an issue being a shorter man and that angle, being a right-hander. That wouldn't have been easy getting at that cue ball.
Now this is kind of tricky right here because he's pretty straight in. So does he just stop it for the 3 ball there, or does he bring it back?
No,
you can't go up and down.
Well, you just stop it here because the 8 and 9 are so handy. Now, if the 8 was a little bit funnier, or even the 9 was a little bit funnier, you might try and change things on the 3, but 9 goes in the side pretty easy, and you can see the 8. And that's a lot of what position play is about, George, is recognizing the balls in front of you, how easy they lay. Meaning you don't want to turn, oh, that's going to go a little further than he liked, but that meaning you don't want to turn shots you have a choice in. You don't want to turn them into missable balls when all the ones in front of you are pretty easy.
Yeah. You don't want to have to be forced with, okay, this is my key shot here, but I better make it.
Yeah, or turn a shot like the 2 in to draw it into the tight position, or where you might get snookered, or it might be missable. Now that was similar to the 8 or the 9 that Billy shot, meaning he didn't get the cue ball movement he wanted. Shouldn't be a problem.
He should have just crossed the path of the line of the 10 and shoot it to the lower corner pocket.
Where he's standing, yeah.
Where he's standing.
And not so much he's worried about this shot, he's just a little worried on the outcome of the last. That's why you'll see the guys shrug at times, and you'll say to yourself, well, they have pretty nice position. Well, it's not about the position that's in front of them. It's about what maybe the stroke they put on the last one, something like that, that kind of is an alarm clock.
Yeah, they weren't happy with the execution of the last shot.
Right.
And they trade racks there. We're tied at 3. A couple of the other matches. Marco Tuscher is now 5 over Mr. Koch, Mason Koch. Cheng Che Lu leads Edgy Geronimo 2-0. Corey Dool still leads Wolford 2-1. Sky Woodward over Jim Davey 4-2. Shane now leads 3-0 over Michael Yednick. And Aranis still trails 1-3 to Maitikin.
Yeah, there's a lot of great players playing this morning, and we got more coming again at 2, 4, and 6. 6 being the last round of each day, which I think is a great schedule overall. Opens the pool room up a little bit, gives these guys plenty of time to rest and get ready for the next day, and maybe get some more practice in if they're struggling with something.
Or if they choose for some late night action.
Yeah, possibly. Okay, much more firm on the break than Alex, but great results again. Nice shot on the 1. Now this is where he wants to maybe judge the speed. He's got to float this a little bit. I don't think he wants to play for the 2-9 combination with the 10 being there. He's got some work, though,
Yeah, he's
George.
got to come between the 5-8 or hold it and go around the 5-8, which is going to put some speed on the ball.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard to hold. He's going right between the 5-8.
Just floating one rail?
Yeah.
I think he's going
Oh, he went around,
yeah.
okay.
And this is where the work starts, meaning he's going to have to draw back and take some angle on the 4, which is what he wants to get back for the 5. That's where you just got to trust the roll out of the ball. Nice float, draw stroke. Just kind of, oh, he came all the way back. Okay, well, if he falls straight here, though.
He's going to fall right on top of it and be in trouble.
Yeah, that's why I thought he may just draw back to a little short of the head string and take the angle on the 4 to where he could come across pretty easy.
I think that's a good example of what a powerful stroke and a cue that adds power, the carbon fiber, can do.
Well, it's just a matter of explaining to these guys, you know, when you're at a high level player, just don't play with as many maybes. You know, like things most likely are going to go okay there. You can handle almost any angle. If you get straight, maybe you draw behind the 5 and back up for position on the 5, something like that. Or just play for more for sure's. If he just kind of drew the 2 ball back a couple feet, he was pretty for sure to have an angle on the 4. A little tougher shot on the 4, but the angle on the 4, you know.
I totally agree. Coming back between those balls and then down again, I mean, you put a lot of stroke on it, and you don't expect to come all the way on top of the ball, but still.
Oh,
here's a little 2-rail kick shot.
What happens is when you're drawn by balls, like by that 5-8 he was drawn by, you have the feeling that, oh, man, if I bump one of those, I want to make sure I still have enough steam on there to get back down here for the 4.
That does seem to add a little bit to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I'll tell you, I got out of position and, again, regrouped, played a really nice safety as far as getting the snooker, making Alex go the rail with the cue ball, and it's going to pay off here in game number 7.
Well, these are looking pretty straightforward. It's a matter of whether he plays the 8 ball to the lower right-hand corner or follows it up, and he will.
Yeah, that new feld, it draws easy. You can come 2 rails here or 1 rail. Most likely just 1. Oh, he came 2. Okay. perfect speed.
God, he had a large area to fall in right there to be just right. Well, back up on top. 4-3. Billy Thorpe over Alex Pagulayan.
Yeah, we're going to have 3 days of the 10 ball here, and then the last 3 days will be the 8 ball.
And again, thanks for tuning in. Watching these guys is just such a pleasure.
Yeah, hadn't been long, has it?
No.
So about 10 days or so.
And then when you stop and think that 23 out of the 36 players that signed up for this 10 ball have a Fargo rate of over 800. You know, that just says a lot to the quality of fields that are being played in now. And so when you stop and think of, you know, Shane's accomplishment of 3 in a row, going for 4, it just makes that feat so much bigger if he's able to do it.
Yeah. Okay, pretty perfect. Well, hit a little high.
There
Got the
goes the
4-railer, though, which was the go-to ball just a few weeks ago at the Rio for the Predator World 10 ball. Seemed like it was, if all else failed with the second balls, seemed like the corner balls really were on point for the 4-railer, and he's gonna bank the 1 cross corner.
Yeah, one of the things about having the 2 and the 3 racked on the corners all the time is that you can look for those balls, one of them to go 4 rails on a good break.
Okay, he's got to draw this to get by the 9. He missed it. Okay, did pretty well with the cue ball, and it's going to leave a tough proposition for Billy Thorpe here. Do you dead roll your ball trying to just hit the right side of it using the 5-8? Man, that's a tough one from that distance. Mm-hmm.
Or do you cut it in and try to hold the cue ball down on the bottom rail underneath the 10? That's a big. To make it. I don't know you can hold it.
I think he's just got to roll his ball. Just take a little chance. Okay, he decided to play it back down. He did great there, and
it's going to come up.
Yeah, but still, it's a containing safety. Very hard for Alex to hold position. Very hard for Alex to guarantee a snooker. He'll probably try to come behind the 4 with the cue ball, maybe. Oh, he's coming behind the 5-8, excuse me, and that's probably correct. Chip the cue ball. It's playing nice to run it. Oh, he hit it way thin. He's going to be very unhappy about that. Not saying the outcome is going to make him that unhappy, but just the hit overall.
He was trying to get behind those balls and not run into those balls, is what you're saying?
Yeah, and just he was trying to catch a 3rd side rail over there, and he's left Billy in a bad spot. Trying to hit this ball, he's got to come pretty much 3 or 4 rails underneath it. Got to get by the 5, by the 9, in between the 10 and 3 with the cue ball to the back of the 1. And he's got to do all that with enough speed to get a rail afterwards.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it looks like.
And to get the hit, he's got to go right by the 10, George. Like no room at all. If he goes 4 or 5 inches wide of the 10, hits it that well, he probably still doesn't hit the 1. So he's got to really threaten the 10.
He didn't get past the corner of the side pocket. He was trying to hit above the side pocket, and he just came right into it. There is a 3-foul rule if Alex chooses to do that, but these guys, I don't see them ever even trying that. There's just no reason. They all kick too good. They move too well to go for shots like that.
And if you know, sometimes when you break the balls and you scratch, well, you know, if there's multiple problems on the table, these guys will sometimes look for the 3-foul. But it's really got to be some issues on the run out for them, these guys not to attempt to clear the table. Good thing here is he just got to realize the 5's real handy, so you don't have to get back that far for the 5 ball at all. So that should make position on the 4 a little easier.
Right to the middle of the table, just past.
He feels like he's going to go towards the 9. That's what he feels like. Yeah, so I think he's going to pinch draw it just above the 6 here. And that's what I was looking at first. Is he going towards that 9 with the cue ball if he follows? And the only reason that's a possibility is because the new felt, the English just doesn't check that. Okay, he made it check a lot. He got perfect.
Yeah, this should open it up for him, just going back and forth there for that. One of the things to keep in mind is this is a $10,000 added event with 64 players. We have 36, so I'm sure that's going to come down a little bit. But there is an added bonus to having these two tournaments run side by side, is that there is the $3,500 purse for the player finishing the highest in both tournaments, so the most points, plus the first place player, because it pays 2 places, $3,500 cash and $1,500 to second place. But the first place player gets a free entry invite into the World 10 Ball in March. That's going to be held this March. That we just had last week and a half, 10 days ago. So it's a big one.
Pagulayan taking a lot of time here. The reason is he doesn't want to float this in. He just doesn't feel good about it, so he's going to pinch it back past the 9. He caught the 9. And he got behind the 8.
I was going to wonder about that.
Yeah, that's just from not being confident and hitting that 4 with just a high outside ball and just coming out in the middle of the table. I know it's a float stroke kind of like, but and it's not one that Alex uses all the time, but it's a stroke on new felt if you're confident, and it really takes away a lot of problems.
And you know the table's leveled. Plus, if you don't want to float it, you can use the second rail to come back to the middle of the table.
Yeah.
So.
But he was close enough to it, and you know he's not like dead floating it like super soft. That's why you get to put the English on there, because you're killing the ball a little, and you're hitting the 4 heavier. And now it's going to cost him most likely here, game number 8 in a 2-game deficit most likely.
Keep in mind it was that little shot, that little bump on the 9 really.
Yeah.
That has hurt him. And you could easily go 2 games down, and the way both of these players have been playing.
It's too much there, isn't it?
He's going to be okay.
Oh, well, the 7's over there now, so you didn't want to get to where you're going away from the 7 too much. Meaning, does he have to go into the 7 here?
I don't think so. I think he can. The float shots you just described for the 4 that Alex has.
Yeah.
I think he's got the same shot right here with just some high English.
I don't think the 7 goes in the side so easy, George. I think he's going back and forth, which is not an easy shot on the new felt. Okay, is he going to get there? The 8's all the way down table, see? So now we got problems. We can't bank it. It looks like the cross side doesn't lay. Maybe it does.
I thought that 7 was more available than what that is.
Well,
that's down table.
He can make it, but moving it in with speed to be able to get back down for the 8 is the problem. So we're going to see a cross side bank here, and he's going to have to hit this easy to get this to spread enough. And it stood up on him.
Big break for Alex.
Even though he's probably kicking, he's liking it.
Yeah, he's back at the table. He can make something happen here. If he kicks this in, he'll have position. So he's just concerned about making this ball. And I know that sounds easy, but it's a big concern. But at least he's only worried about half the shot, not the position coming afterwards.
Well, this is the kind of shot you'd like to go 2 rails, but the 7's up a bit. So to really realistically have a good chance of making it, I think he's got to just go 1.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, hit it great.
Got it. What a save. And that with new felt.
Well, that's one thing these guys have done a lot of here in the last few months, is played a lot of premium world-class tournaments, and the conditions are going to be very similar to our TV table for this week. again, this is another one. If you don't mind floating the ball, if you're very confident just floating it with some outside English, this is a pretty easy shot.
Oh, got another bump.
And he knew the speed he was hitting it, that wasn't ever going to be too far away from the 9 or probably in too bad a position, bumping it or not.
Will he use the second rail for shape here?
I think so.
I think so too.
I think so.
He spins it over.
Okay, so our match is going to get knotted here at 4 games apiece, most likely. And again, Billy Thorpe's got to shake it off. He had a little bit of an opportunity there to take a 2-game lead.
You know, and it's cases like that where matches are won and lost. Just
Yeah.
an excellent opportunity for him to take that 2-game lead. Instead, they're knotted at 4.
Yeah, and breaking.
And breaking, yeah.
Get a chance to extend it even further,
Yeah.
and possibly without Alex getting time at the table. Talk about it all the time. Everybody remembers the Hill games scenarios or the 8-7 scenario. You had a chance to make it Hill. But it's all those early games.
It's moments like this that people
sure.
forget about, and actually this is where in the middle of the matches where a lot of these matches are turned around.
And that's why these guys are the best players in the world. Is you don't want to play every game mentally like it's Hill, put pressure on yourself, but you want to play it essentially every game the same. Whether that, you make percentage decisions throughout the match like you would if it was 8-8. So
You just pretty much got to respect every shot with the same importance that the Hill has at this level.
Billy's putting that one in a good spot. Not the best of kisses there, but
I like coming off the bottom of the 1 ball and putting the cue ball where the 2 ball is.
I think so, especially if he can definitely contain the 1 behind the 5-6. I think it's possible. It's going to be pretty subtle and a little touchy, but should be okay.
He could also bank the 1 down and bring the cue ball behind the 8-9. But I'm not sure which would be better.
Well, it doesn't take much to change the shot as far as just how the ball lays, and these guys can see it much better than we can. I think it's kind of like right in between. He can't get the. He'd like to get the 1 across maybe and cue ball behind the 10, but I don't think that's possible. So he's just going to play the not all the way down, and that was solely to make sure he kept the snooker.
Yeah, he kept the 1 ball there and not have it leak out towards the pocket. Because to get all the way down by the 2 ball, that 1 ball would have traveled a little further and possibly leaked away.
Pretty nice recognizing that. Also, a lot of players stay away from that 1 rail, just floating the cue ball into space like that, and having to use your skill to control both. You'd much rather have that rail or that position on the rail to give you a nice reference. Well, at least if I get the cue ball there, everything should be all right. But at this level, pretty nice. I'm surprised he's not kicking 2 rails in between the 8 and 9 here.
Well, doesn't the 9 ball take that away? It looks like if he goes by the 9, he's going to be missing it short.
Yeah, it could be. But that would be the nice way to come across the 1 and maybe separate the balls. And it's a little more natural look than this is. He's just going 1 rail at it.
And missed it.
Yeah.
Much smaller ball going 1 rail than 2.
Well, especially on the new felt at that slight angle, the ball's going to spread on you.
And it's funny because these guys will make a little mini mistake, I guess you might say, and then they follow it up with I don't want to say getting away with it, but that was a good safety.
Oh yeah,
that was a good safety by Billy.
And it's been probably at one time you may have considered that definitely one of the things that Billy Thorpe needed to improve on, and now through
safety play.
Well, just as strategy maybe you say. No, and it wasn't bad, but I mean you're trying to get it as good as possible,
right.
And sometimes that gets you through matches. And here early in this match, it's really what's kept him on the board because he's had a few mistakes. He's missed a couple balls in position a couple times.
Yeah, and he's been able to save it with just little things like that, little strategic moves such as that.
Well, and it's not easy to outwit Pagulayan when it comes to that type of game.
He's one of the best in the games. He just keeps it simple and high percentage.
Okay, got a little angle here, so he's going to have to make a decision if he's going to go 3 rails or just 1 rail. And the thing about 1 rail, if he gets a little going away from the 9 when shooting the 8, like here, did he get full enough to hold? I think so. He's going away from it a little bit.
He might go up and down for it. Either play the 9 ball to the lower
I like him
right-hand
going to
side.
look here. I like him going to look because when you go look, it almost always reminds you that hey, probably staying underneath this 9 is not that tough a shot. Or it tells you the other thing. That it tells you, hey, I need to go ahead and move this cue ball.
And just come straight back down again for the 9 in the same pocket. He's going to stay underneath it.
Yeah, and I like that decision. Got to realize with the new felt here for most of the tournament, you're going to see that pocketing the balls for the guys isn't the difficult part of the equation. It's really keeping track of the cue ball.
And while we rack these balls, as soon as Billy takes this 5-4 lead, we'll try to give you an update on what's going on around here. Shane leads Yednick 6-1. Skyler Woodward 7-2 over Davey. Marco Tusher over Mason Koch 6-4. Cheng Che Lu 5-2 over Eddie Geronimo. Corey Duell 4-3 over Shane Wolford. And then James Aranas over Casper McCakin from Finland. James Aranas is trailing 1-6 or 6-1. And then Torsten Homan over James Baraks 6-3.
Well, Alex has broke the balls just pretty ideal the entire match at a much lighter speed, but really tracking what would be the 5 and the 8. Watch those going towards the sides. All right, he got the 8 down, and he's putting the 1 in. All right, it went in that time, so a 2, if he can see, it's going to be long distance, but it's not going to be one he passes on. He's going to go offensive here. But look at the spreads. I mean, just
nothing touching a rail, no 2 balls together.
Yeah.
Everything's out in the open.
Multiple pockets for every ball.
If he pockets this ball, he's got to be odds-on favorite to complete the clearance.
Yeah, huge favorite. He's looking at top English here and looking at leveling out and going forward with the cue ball. So that involves the 6. All right, now he's going to cue down, and I think that's actually the correct way to shoot this. It's your best percentage.
Yeah, it takes the 9 ball out of play, the 6 ball out of play. But it makes that shot.
Is he going to get lucky here? He did. Very
lucky. Is he
lucky.
Behind that ball? He is,
I
isn't
think
he?
so, yeah. And that's twice Alex has missed an opening shot and really kind of put the clamps on Billy. This isn't easy. Unless he's got a subtle curve around this 7 ball.
No, that's a lot. That's not a subtle. That's
well, but it's close though, so you can aim away easily and feel like, all right, I'm gonna get by it how I want, and you want to bank the 2 back towards the 7 and let the cue ball fall the end rail. You're gonna call something here, but this is gonna be more of a safety. See how he's coming down with the cue ball? At least make Alex make another long shot or some type of long shot.
Instead of going all out for the Massey.
Yeah, you know,
gotcha.
It's one thing if you really liked it, but it looked like to me it was going to be more of a trying to play safe, get back to the table, and Alex is going to put him behind the 10. But the 2 got away a little bit. The 2 got away. This is not what Alex wants.
I actually like that shot right there. He just shot there where the cue ball is.
Oh, absolutely.
On the opening shot of the game. Off
Yeah,
the 2. I liked
know,
it there. But I know that the game was there for the taking.
These guys aren't passing on that
No,
opening
they're not.
one.
No,
if
they're
the cue
not.
ball was froze or something, but he could cue down on the ball, he wasn't passing on that one. But Going to be pretty upset he let the 2-ball leak here because he had a big ball to get behind with the 10. Is he calling this cross side? Across corner? Okay. This is no two-way involved in this at all if he's going for this bank. This is one he feels like he's making.
That's using the whole rail on the bottom there.
Trouble. Okay.
Almost. Trouble averted by that little bump.
Well, we discuss it every time Billy Thorpe's usually in a match as far as his banking ability.
What a bigger range that gives him to
and
shot selection.
Well, that, and it's not something that comes up a ton because he's not going to make bad decisions behind his banking ability, like go for something really silly. But at times, you know, if you're talking about 1 out of 20 games, 25 games, or 2 out of 30 that he's stealing or not letting you back to the table because of how well he banks, that's a big difference at a pro level.
Sure is. And he might get his 2-game lead and breaking.
Well, the last couple games, his stroke had gotten a little cleaner, so this type of shot shouldn't be hit very hard to pinch it back 3 or 4 inches. And unlike Alex coming off a 10 a.m. match, George,
this is Alex's first match of the day. It's Billy's second, and they were back-to-back.
So I'm sure Billy arrived here at some 9 a.m. probably to get the arm going, and didn't have no breeze in the first one. What should have been a hill match, most likely, with Max Eberly and both players playing great.
Max Eberly played fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean,
9
they
to
both
7
played very
there.
well. That match could have gone either way. In the middle of the match, they were within a game the whole way. And if a player has been in command this match, it's been Billy. He's the only one. Well, he's the only player that won 2 games in a row twice.
Yeah.
Alex has won 1 game every other game.
Well, I believe Alex's only lead was at 1-0 also. And really, Billy should have gotten that. Got hooked, shooting the 2, coming around for a 3 with a 4-10 laid up in the hole pretty much.
So here we are. This is the 11th rack in a race to 9.
Now Billy's kind of hitting him harder, and you'll see the second ball kind of moving in with a lot more speed into that side pocket. Oh, he missed it that time. He missed the 4-railers. Oh, he got a little nick on it off the 10. Did you see that? The 3 was going long.
I missed that. I was watching the 7 ball roll in that corner pocket.
Yeah, just grazed the 7 went in as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And another nice starter on the 1. Now he's elevated here, and he doesn't have a great path back and forth between the 4-5. Maybe it's okay. Okay, the 4 is available to both pockets. So.
And he's got a nice angle to come straight up for it for the right-hand side. So.
And this is where you just slowly bring it back. Okay, nice shot.
That's just really made everything available for him. Now, see, here's that shot we talked about earlier. I think it was the first or second game where you said, do you use, like when you play the 6, do you push the 8 ball off the rail there, or you just draw it up and get straight, almost straight in on the 8 to get enough angle to get go to the 9?
Well, it's the next ball, so it probably won't get messed with in this position right here. But say, you know, yeah, it was one of the other balls. A later ball, you might move it.
Might move it. But not here. I hear you'll just get position to come right over for it.
Perfect speed there, it looks like. Yeah. Now he's going to have to shoot the 8 with a little angle. Even if he shoots it up long, you have to roll. That's another thing. Good thing right there. Go look, get a little more dialed in, and you realize that shot down in the corner, that's nothing. I'm just going to roll. That's much better rolling forward here 10 inches rather than coming back and taking a much thinner hit on the 8 to a shorter pocket.
And he's able to just kind of cheat it just a little bit, opened it up,
sure,
lay the cue ball a little closer to the rail.
And again, that going to look just really kind of gives you the confidence and reminds you that this isn't that tough.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just make sure I keep the run going.
And he's kept it going.
So, Alex, a 9-ball you must pay attention to here, though. We saw one earlier in the match that Billy didn't strike as well as he would have wanted. It still went down, but what looks like a 3-game deficit, and Alex Pagulayan, a lot of pressure in that next break.
That's one of my favorite ways to get position. Just come off that rail, just off the rail, so you can pocket the ball, then you're straight in. First time a player won 3 games in a row. And what a time to do it. He now leads 7-4 over Alex Pagulayan. Some of the matches that we're going to take a little time out, folks. Well, both players are back at the live stream table, and Alex is racking, trailing 7-4 to Billy Thorpe in the second round match on day 1 of the U.S. Open 2019. We are at Griff's Billiards in Las Vegas, Nevada. Griff's is pretty much the home of the U.S. Opens. We've had the straight pool, bang pool, 1 pocket, and now the 8-ball and the 10-ball.
Yeah, and again, great results off the break. A little bit of a funny shot here on the 1 just because the 4's in somewhat of the path of the cue ball and the 3's back down table. So I'm not sure he can avoid this 4-ball at all, George. He may be able to creep the cue ball out maybe about where it's at now, something like that realm, and take the cut on the 3. But otherwise, I think he may have to play off the 4 because he's certainly not going to play safe.
It looks like it might creep just past the 4. If he can just get that cue ball come towards that 10-ball, he might be all right.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's just.
Oh, wow. He
And
tried. Wow, I don't understand.
He must have thought he was catching a piece of that ball. There's no way he's going to try and get behind it and come around. That's for sure.
So you think maybe he's using inside English to catch a piece of the ball
or
and go
straight,
2 rails?
Or straight. If he thought he was going to catch it
Yeah.
thin, then he just comes down the side of the table by the 8 kind of and takes a cut on the 3.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense than the way it appeared. You sat there and looked at it and wow.
Okay, he's going to need
a great shot.
Yeah, he made a great shot. The 4 does have a pocket by the 10, I believe. He's got a little angle going away from the 5, and drawing into the 8 isn't so easy. So again, a funny position here, even though he's got a nice look at the 4. 2 rails by the 8. Man, he's going to have to get thin on the 5, I believe. Is that enough to get by the 6?
I don't know. The 7 ball's in play.
That's the one I'm talking about, the 7. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Sometimes
he
the
got right
colors
up on
get
top
me.
of it.
And I don't know where he thought he was going with that.
Above it. I think
with that much angle? Wow. The inside does not grab on the new felt.
Yeah.
So, and even going above it, you can see that's why I said he must have thought he was going to get real thin on the 5. So now he's got nothing really but a 3 rail kick, I believe. I'm not sure he can get past the 7 to get to the side rail and kick 1 rail at the 5.
This is one of these shots where you pay a high price for not getting position that you have to get when you're trailing 2 games.
And unlike Alex in a little bit of a sticky situation, he didn't take as much time as he normally does. Normally would have went and looked and really surveyed the situation. And not saying it cost him here, or that's what cost him. He's definitely in a bad position though. And a big underdog to hit this. I think he's got to kick 1 rail. Dead elevated over the 7 as well.
Yeah, with the bridge.
Yeah, which doesn't slow him down much. One of the best bridge players in the game. Look at this. He may have made it. Oh, he fouled. That's why there was no problem. They're playing all ball fouls here, which, again, is a great way to play. At this high level, I don't, even without referees at every table, I haven't seen a problem yet or in the last several tournaments I've been at. So. I like Billy playing this for the corner. The 8 has both holes. No reason to run this cue ball for the 7 in the side, I don't think. Yeah, I really like the corner there, especially with the 8, again, having both pockets. If you run a little out of line on the side, you could fall a little funny. Corey Deuel in a tough match with Shane Wolford. Yeah, at 5-4.
5-4.
Lou and Geronimo 6-5 with Lou leading. Is he going forward for the 8 in the side here?
He's going to play in the other pocket.
Okay.
Opposite pocket.
Well, I really like the corner pocket position. I know you and I have talked about it.
I hate side pockets, and I think you have this. I wonder if it has anything to do with playing 1 pocket.
I don't know.
It's such a delicate. If you don't get just right, you have to work so hard to get position for the next ball.
Yeah.
And it can get you in trouble.
And tell a lot of people it should just kind of be obvious when the side pocket should be played forward. Even if you just look at percentages, you got 6 pockets on the table and 4 of them are corners. So you would think 2 out of every 3 shots at minimum should be played in the corner.
Look how tight a position he's going to play here if he's going to roll forward to get on that 10 ball.
Yeah. Well, I like him doing that rather than drawing back for a thinner cut. He can go back pass for the side as well. This is one position that there's nothing wrong with going past it for the side this time, but
looks good.
Okay, so Billy Thorpe in prime position now and won the lag and is going to be ahead 8-4, so he's going to get 3 breaks to win this match.
And he's won the last 4 games in a row to get on the hill.
If you're just joining us, it's the U.S. Open 10 ball, and this is our first stream match of day 1. We'll be right back at 2 o'clock Pacific time. I'm not sure we have that match scheduled yet of who it may be.
I have to change that. The 2 p.m. match, I believe, is Kurt Kobayashi.
Oh, okay.
Whoever he's playing. I forget who he's playing. He plays the See if I can find it here while we're racking the balls. Well, Billy's breaking the ball here on the hill, breaking for the match.
And we've had a few mistakes here by both players. They both tell you that, but both broke the balls really well, and I think it hadn't really been misses much. Just a little bit of the position, getting used to the fast table. Okay, those broke great. The one's tracking. He's gonna get another cross corner bank that we'll see if he wants to take a shot at. Billy's made a couple in this match that are pretty nice. Now this one is a little different. You might chop the one a little bit, put the one underneath the 3, and let the cue ball run 2 rails behind the 10.
Is that it right there?
Oh yeah, Ruslan Chinahov against Kurt Kobayashi. Should be one heck of a match. Now I'm pretty sure that Ruslan didn't leave after the last 2 tournaments here just a couple weeks ago. That's a long trip.
He's been around, yeah, back to
Moscow. So he's going to put the 1 underneath the 3, and this is where he may not get the cue ball all the way to the 10. Oh, he did. And that was a great shot.
Oh, it might.
I don't think so.
That's tight.
I don't think it leaked.
Might have the left side of it.
Yeah, but with the 2 being there too, it's pretty tough. Now, if he does have the left side, that's the side he wants, to where he can cut the 1 into the 3 and probably not get a snooker, George, but at least he can contain the 1 on the and run the cue ball somewhere.
And he's going to be running the cue ball down by the 6-7 deuce. He might be able to get behind the ball if he can see the left side.
He may jump the 1 at the 9 here. I wouldn't be upset if I was in his corner and he took a shot at trying to jump this ball and make something happen.
Well, I hate to call this a desperation shot, but it's pretty close to it.
Well,
there's not much else to shoot.
He's got the worst of it. First off,
sure.
You call it desperation because it's 8-4. That's why
exactly,
you might label desperation.
Exactly.
But,
that's why I would
regardless, he's got the worst of it. He's just got to try and make something happen. And I don't think the 1 plays by the 6 long rail bank, so I think he's going to probably call the 9 here.
He's got the jump cue.
And he hadn't called anything as far as what we've seen, but he certainly called something. And okay.
Made it. How's his cue ball?
Well,
is that 7? Is that 6? Oh, he's got a window.
Yeah, deservedly
he's got a window
so.
Between the 2 and the 6.
Deservedly so. Back against the wall.
This is a little tricky shot he's got here. He's got to come straight back past the 7 or to the 7. Because I think if he goes to the right side, 2 rails for the side pocket, his angle's pretty sharp.
It is, but I still think he's got to punch that way, I think. He can't go forward because of the 5. So he'll punch and just try to slide to that rail. Don't go any further than that 2nd rail right here.
Yeah, there he goes. He's fine. Oh, it's close. It tightened up.
I think he's actually perfect, but probably threatened that 7 ball a little bit more than he wanted.
Okay, he's back in control of this game. What he's not in control of is the fact that Billy will have 2 more breaks.
2 more breaks.
To win the set.
Yeah, like most sports, though, many things are out of your control, so you just got to deal with what you can do while you're at the table.
Oh, my.
And just this morning's hasn't agreed with Alex as a whole.
That's something you don't see very often.
No, and Alex is a student of the game, but more importantly, probably you'd say a student of himself. So he's going to go away from this match and try and figure out what he's got to do to carry on in this 10-ball tournament, because he knows that making mistakes is not gonna last long. You've already mentioned the quality of the field.
Oh,
Mistakes are not really allowed too much.
Let's see where Alex might end up. Billy's in control here.
Yeah, and he's got a bunch of pockets for the 7, so if he needs to fall below it, it's not really a problem. So Billy Thorpe just a couple balls away from really 2 nice wins to open this U.S. Open 10 ball. One over Max Everly, and now future Hall of Famer. Well, he's inducted already, but 10's going to be conceded, and Alex Pagulayan will be back on the loser side, and Billy Thorpe will be back. I'm assuming he's done for today, I would guess. Maybe not, but anyways, thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. Is that correct?
Yes, we'll be back at 2 o'clock. And see you soon. George Teacha and Jeremy Jones signing out.